He is the voice of the Republican Party, none other than Rush Limbaugh. And he laments, he wails, the left has beaten us. So, JR, let's go to the video.
The purpose of this program has been to create as large a body of informed voting citizens as possible. And what we've been profoundly successful at that. The left has beaten us. They have created far more low information, unaware, uneducated people than we've been able to keep up with. And despite overwhelming success in creating more and more people who are informed and active and involved, the left, with control of the education system, control of the pop culture, movies, TVs, books, music, we've just been outnumbered.
Yeah.
And the way they've done it is to create more and more dependency, and then every so often tell those people that they're about to lose it all because of the Republicans.
That's fantastic. So, Jimmy,
that's great.
Is it true? Has the left beaten us, whatever us means?
Yeah. Well, I like how he says they control everything now. They control the. So it's that pretend they're victims, right? It's again you're the poor conservative who has no power. When are rich white guys ever going to get their turn in America? When is it going to be their chance?
But you know what though? He's actually right. The left has won, and every single polling shows that the American public leans heavily left. The Republican ideology has lost, and they have lost soundly. So let's go to all the issues, issue by issue. On taxes and the deficit, we have 76% say we should reduce the deficit with a combination of tax increases and spending cuts. Republicans want only spending cuts, no tax increases.
So that would be 3/4 of the American people agree with the Democrats' position on that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The left has won on that.
The left has won.
Yeah, so let's go to minimum wage. What does the public say about minimum wage? By a 71 to 26% margin, the public favors increasing the minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $9 an hour.
That includes 50% of Republicans agree with raising the minimum wage to $9. 50% of Republicans agree with that.
Absolutely.
So it's not only the left winning, the left's ideas are now being adopted by the right.
Because it's the correct ideas.
Yes.
And we'll get to that in a second. So, but let's go to all the issues.
Okay.
Let's go to gun control next. On gun control, by a 67 to 29% margin, Americans favor passing major new gun legislation in the next few years. And if you dig a little bit deeper, there's about an 85% approval for background checks, and well over 50% approval for limiting the magazine capacities of guns, and for banning assault weapons. So again, the left totally winning. How about climate change? On climate change, 54% to 34%, the priority for addressing the nation's energy supply should be developing alternative energy sources over increased production of fossil fuels. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's pretty good.
Yes. So, we want solar, we want wind, we want the ability to increase production of energy through those sources rather than through fossil fuel, which is, coal, clean coal, which is the same thing, but they just put the word clean in front of it. And the Exxon, the Keystone XL pipeline, all of that. Americans are not in favor of that. They want alternative, clean energy sources.
But who is in favor of the Keystone pipeline? Who is in favor of more fossil fuels? Corporations.
Corporations.
Right. Big energy, right? So
right.
Oil comes. So they're in favor. So that's why even though the people are for renewable and against fossil fuels, doesn't matter that much because we all know who runs the show. Okay, what's your next stat?
All right, so we have immigration. So let's see what the public says about immigration.
Okay.
50% says Obama has a better approach, and only 34% says congressional Republicans have a better approach. And that means the pathway to citizenship, allowing these people who are living here in the shadows without many of the rights that Americans enjoy to have the ability to work their way to having that at some point. Republicans, they like to pretend that they can just make these people stay forever in the shadows and deport them all, or self-deport.
Self-deport.
Yes, because that's always very
you make life so
attractive.
miserable for people in America that they want to get the hell out of it.
And then let's go to gay marriage. So on gay marriage, I mean, this number is trending in favor of progressives more and more every single day. But right now, as it stands, it's 40% support for same-sex marriage, 30% support for same-sex civil unions, and only 24% think that there should not be allowed to have any type of legal union for same-sex couples.
So that's 70% of Americans think that gays should be the least, the minimum, they should have a civil union.
Yeah.
And with all the rights that a marriage does. That's 70%.
And I've seen other polls where over 50% of people are actually now in favor of gay marriage.
Yeah, so I thought that was low too.
Yeah, I'm not sure when this was taken, but again, the left has won. And here's the thing. They've always won. The left has always won. Progressive have always won throughout history. So let's go back throughout history and see what they won on. They won on the issue of slavery.
Right.
They won on the issue of segregation and integration.
Trust busting.
Yes, labor rights, women's voting rights. They've won on issues of gay marriage. They have won on every single issue. It always leans progressive.
That's why they're called progressive. They progress. And conservatives are just kind of hanging on to the status quo, which we always know moves forward. So that's what I never understand. It's like, so what thing did the conservatives ever champion that came to be? I mean, I'm sure it's got to be, right?
Well, they've been wrong on every single issue. I mean, they have been wrong. They've been on the wrong side of history every single time.
No,
they were against interracial marriage. They're against gay marriage.
Yes.
They're against integration. They think races should be kept separately.
They're against the 40-hour work week, overtime pay. They're against the Family
Weekends.
Child Leave Act. They're against, right?
Child labor rights.
Right.
They're against all of that. And they've lost.
Yes.
They've
They
lost.
still get 49% of the vote.
They do. It's amazing. As Cenk would say, wolf-pack.com.
I'm all for that, by the way.